I'd like to welcome you to Session 1, bringing resolution to emotionally charged conversations. Hopefully we'll be able to look underneath the surface and determine what's going on so that you can make sense of why the people that you care about act the way they do. Why is it that you can have the best intentions and the exact perfect solution to the problem that people you care about are facing, and they refuse to listen to your advice? Have you ever wondered why people you care about resist you? Some people want to process conflict logically. They function best when things are always calm and reasonable. Their first reaction to most situations is to look for a rational solution. They operate in the arena of facts, empirical data, and rational thought. They see emotions as the silly ramblings of weak, unstable individuals. Other people want to process conflict emotionally by giving equal consideration to values, feelings, and the impact on people. They function best when people are kind enough to give their feelings consideration and compassionate enough to allow them to unpack their emotions. They see logical solutions as the premature directives of cold, uncaring, emotionally stunted individuals. How do we have productive conversations with vastly different people? Is it possible to navigate the differences of opinion, hurt feelings, and end up connected? Does a logical person have to become illogical? Does an emotional person have to become unemotional? Every single time two people have a conversation, there's actually two conversations. The first conversation is the one on the surface, and that's about whatever it is you're talking about. But that's not the important conversation. Every time you have a conversation, the one underneath the surface is the one that most people are unaware of and pay little attention to, but it's the one that means the most. Anytime you're in a situation where a person is angry or frustrated or you become triggered, then all of a sudden something else takes place. And what's going on under the surface is your relational alarm system is sounding. And here's how it sounds. If you determine that the other person is not listening or not available to you or not receptive or doesn't care about what it is you're saying, all of a sudden all of your hurts, your fears, and your vulnerabilities become part of the conversation. When they become part of the conversation, something happens to you where you no longer have access to the main thinking part of your brain. I call it amygdala hijack or cognitive incapacitation. And when that takes place, what goes on is you do not have access to your brain. There's a little teeny part of your brain that you have access to, and it is unable to solve problems. It's unable to come to creative solutions. You know that you're in this when your blood pressure rises, when your hormones get released and you're stressed. Almost every single regret a human being has is when they have an amygdala hijack. Let me tell you about an amygdala hijack. There's a mom, and she has two little kids. One kid's about 4 and the other one's about 1.5, and they're walking through a grocery store. All of a sudden, the 4-year-old keeps pulling stuff off of the aisles, and the mom keeps saying, no, no, no. And then the kid reaches out, grabs a thing of jelly, and then it sprays all over the floor. What takes place in that moment is what I call an amygdala hijack, when that mom is completely unaware of what's going on inside and she loses it. It happens to all of us. It happens to us in real conversations. Most of us in those moments don't have access to our brain, so we can't get to our primary emotions. We can't think about sadness or fear, and what we end up doing is we're critical or we're harsh or we're angry and we respond to someone. Different people respond differently. Some people, when they're triggered, when they're overwhelmed emotionally, what they do is they attack. Some people defend. Some people withdraw and some people freeze. But very few people are able to say what's really going on. Whenever this takes place, I call it the merry-go-round of misery. And the merry-go-round of misery is when two people are in a conversation going nowhere and they have an endless loop of destruction and people are hurt and wounded. And what I want to do now is take some time and show you how to get off the merry-go-round. Because as long as you stay on the merry-go-round, you will be miserable.